everybody, I'm Lynn. I hope you're having an amazing day today. Now in this video I'm going to show you how you can pot up and get to root Epiphyllum cuttings. Now in my previous videos to this I've got part 1, part 2 and part 3 of an Epiphyllum series. Part 1 it tells you how to prune an epiphyllum, part 2 is how to take the cuttings, and part 3 is getting them to root and potting them up. And this is part 3, so I've got the links all down below, check the other 2 links out. Now when it comes to potting up, obviously the mix is important what you use. Now some growers will say you can use pure perlite to root your cuttings. That's absolutely fine, whichever you prefer. In this case I'm using half Johnnings number 2, or you can use number 1, and half perlite, so 50 of each, 50% of each, giving it all a really good mix about as well. Now when it comes to checking the pot size, obviously you don't want a pot that's too deep because they're cuttings, and if they're too deep it's possible they could root, so always pick a pot that's sort of a good decent size, that's not going to be too deep there. Now obviously when it comes to rooting them you must allow at least 2 weeks till they form a thick callus. This helps prevent any rot. If you just take the cuttings and pop them straight into the compost and then go on to water them, they inevitably will rot. So cacti, the same epiphyllums, all rot if you don't let them callus over. So make sure they're fully callus at least 2 weeks, which I explained in my previous video on how to take the cuttings. So then let's get started. Now what you do when you've got your pot, half fill it with the soil mix. Now it's entirely up to you whether you want to actually pot 2 up in the same pot as I've done here, or even 3 if you want, or separately as in this case. And in this case I'm going to pot up the 2. It really makes no difference, it just depends whether you want the 2 or the 1. Now put it, obviously I'd recommend putting them into at least 2 inches deep, and you see the roots will actually take form from the areoles here and also at the bottom. So you want to put it in 2 inches deep, like so, tap it in, and then getting the soil mix, putting it around the sides here, around there, and then tampering it down so it's all neat and snug, so it's not going to wobble. Like so, and then get the other one now. Again, just press it down very gently so it stands like so, and then soil all around it, pressing down, very gently pressing down, again 2 inches deep into the soil. There you go. It's important that you press down because otherwise they can be a little bit top heavy, and then when you do go to start giving them a tiny bit of water they'll tend to fall out the pot. So there you go, like so. And then a little bit more soil up to the top. That you don't want to go too high up because otherwise when it comes to watering the soil will tend to come out. So I think that's pretty much good. And then what I'd recommend doing as well is also getting a little label, name card, naming what it is, especially if you want to give them away to gifts to family and friends. You let them know what it is. This goes Epiphyllum acamani, like so. Now with these, I would really strongly recommend not to start watering straight away because they are cuttings. They haven't got roots. So what I would recommend instead is to actually spray mist the plants. Don't give them a proper watering for at least a month. Spray them, if you've got a plant sprayer, that's brilliant, and actually spray the leaves and just spray the surface of the soil, and this would encourage them to send out roots. And then after about a month or so, about 6 weeks, then you can start watering them as normal. Now also keep them in a shady spot. You want to keep them in a well-lit spot, you don't want them in the dark or anything like that. A well-lit spot, but away from direct sunlight and intense heat, because this will cause them to shrivel up before they have a chance to form their roots. So there you go, guys. Oh, also, you'll know when they've actually taken root, because people say, how do you know when they've took root? Well, it does take a good few weeks, so you have to be very patient. It can take sometimes up to 4 months. But you usually notice the first thing is that the leaves start to fatten out, and you think, oh, they're fattening out, they've got their roots. And also there's signs of new growth at the top as well. So there you go, it's so easy, guys, and you must have a go at propagating Epiphyllum because they're wonderful plants and the flowers are outstanding. So sending you loads of love and loads of happiness as always from Ireland. If you like the video, please give it a like for me. I'd really like that. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Send you loads of love and happiness as always. And until the next video.